Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Everyday October, where I'm posting a new cruelty-free makeup review every single day in the month of October. And in today's video I am going to be creating 3 looks with the dark Dreamscape palette from Bella Beauty Bar. So I already have a first impression swatching, all of that good stuff, and also an eyeshadow palette bingo. So if you are looking for inspiration for this palette, I highly recommend you watch the bingo as well, because the look turned out incredibly, if I do say so myself. I really loved the way that that look turned out. So we're going to be creating 3 more looks in today's video. This is look number 1, a blue smoky halo eye. Then I want to do something more like pinky peachy, and then something more purple. So 3 completely different looks. We're going to start with this one. I would love to hear what look is your favourite, which colour combinations you have been enjoying if you have this palette. But let's just dive on into creating look number 1. Okie dokie, so look number 1, I want to focus mainly on these shades down at the bottom, maybe this darker blue as well, and I think I want to do a halo eye. I don't do that basically ever, so we can just try it. And I don't really wear a lot of blues, but I do like these because they're a little bit more greeny blue. Justifying it to myself. Either way, let's start with a small fluffy brush. And let's go in with, in fact, no, let's take an even smaller brush, because I don't want this to get too dark. Really teeny tiny little brush, and I'm going to go into Void, this darkest intense navy blue, and I'm going to pick that up on that brush, and I'm going to tap this right onto the inner corner, very dark, and right onto the outer corner as well, like so. Obviously I've already got the rest of my face done, so I am properly taking this like round the outer corner of my eye as well, but just really packing that colour on. Very intense, very dark and smoky. And then when there's less on the brush, I'm just gonna tap over the edges a teeny little bit so that it starts to blend it out. But I do want to blend it out with that small brush that I was saying about at first, into the shade Supernatural, that bright mid-toned teal. I will pack that on next to that darker navy. I do really like this teal shade. I know I don't wear a lot of blues, but if I do, it's going to be something really nice and bright like this. Such a beautiful shade. Yes. And then again, when there's less on the brush, I'm just going to tickle over the top edge of that navy shade. Oh, I love this turquoise shade. Oh, it's so pretty. I will also run that all the way along the lower lash line. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to clean up that little bit of fallout that I got from that navy shade here. We will cross that bridge in a moment or two, but smoke this shade out all the way along the lower lash line. So I'm happy with those 2 shades. We're getting a nice shape there. So I'm going to go in with more of a flat fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into Portal, this shade up at the top, to add a little bit of purple right above, just a tiny little bit of this, right above here. So slightly above the crease and above those blue shades. And then I think just a nice little bit of shimmer down that centre part of the lid. and I will be very, very happy with that. I love this Portal shade. It's so, so beautiful. I am thinking what my other looks will be, and I think I want to do a really, really purple look, and that will be star of the show. I love it. I love it. So just wiggling a little bit of that, like I say, above the crease and over those other shades, just to round it out a little bit up there, like so. Just a little hint of purple. And what shimmer do I want to use? I think it's got to be Mirror Image. It's got to be this bright turquoise right down the middle there. So I'm just going to take this on my finger. That actually has some like purple in it as well, so great choice to put that through the crease a little bit, I think. Yes, indeed. So that eyeshadow primer is still tacky across the lid there, so this is grabbing really, really nicely. Obviously that was only a small amount. Oh, that's a very, very pretty shade. Okie dokie. Oh, I love the shimmers in this palette. I think that they're incredible. I love the undertones. I love how bright they are. Delicious. So I'm just going to go back in with that brush that I was using for the brightest teal shade. Oh, I just scratched my nose and now I've got blue glitter all over it. That's fine. Just tapping over the edge with a bit more of that supernatural, that bright tealy turquoise. Tapping a little bit more of that in between the darkest and that shimmer shade. But I think that I am quite happy with that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with where we are at with that. So I am going to add some mascara, and that's look number 1. Easy peasy. I will just spend a little minute neatening it up, but then I'll add mascara and we'll be done. There we go, so mascara is done, and I actually think I want to add a little bit of the bright pastel purple. This one, I think I want to add a little bit of that sort of onto the lower part of the inner corner. So taking a small brush, that one is called Coexist, and I'm gonna tap that along. Yeah, nice and bright. Oh, I like that shade a lot. And that's sort of bringing out more of the purple up at the top as well, which is very, very pretty. So tapping that out. Yeah, I like that. I like that little pop of purple right on the inner corner. I mean, obviously I love a pop of any pastel shade right on the inner corner, but I feel like that one works really well because it's joining up the purple that's through the crease. And that is look number 1. I don't know why that's looking unblended. It is blended. Yeah. There we go. Look number 1 with the dark Dreamscape palette. A halo eye, something a little bit different for me. So this is look number 1. I'm going to be filming all 3 of these clips in one day. So I'm going to go take all of this off and we can come back for look number 2. Okay, so I am sufficiently covered in glitter from the last look, but eyeshadow primer is back on and I have stuck some sellotape on the outer corner of my eyes, and I think I want to do the sort of purpley look. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing. Do I ever? Literally never. I never ever know what I want to do. So let's figure something out together with the purples. I think I want to use Parallel Dimension, because that's a beautiful, beautiful shifty shade. And then I don't know what else. Let's figure something out. So start with a fluffy brush and let's go into Portal, and I will put that all through the crease. Let's go quite dramatic with this one. So I will take this right out over the tape on the outer corner. I do love this purple. This is a beautiful, beautiful undertone. I would honestly just whack this all over the lid, big black wing, call it a day. I think I might do sort of a shadow wing today, since I've got the tape out here for this look. It will make a nice shadow wing quite easy to do. So packing this Portal shade on, buff it out up towards the brow a little bit, like so. Then I'll just wipe that brush off again on the blanket that I have got on my lap. This eye is watering like crazy, probably because I've done like 4 eyeshadow looks today. And I've got another one to come, so it's fine. And I'm going into Psychokinetic, the bright baby pink. And I will just tap that on the inner third of the crease to like brighten up right in there, like so. Very, very happy with that bright pink inner corner. I love that. So let's take a more dense, smaller brush, and I will go in with, what do I want to go in with? See, this is the shimmer that I want to use, Parallel Dimension. That's a beautiful bright shade. So, ooh, I suppose we could do Decay maybe on the outer corner as the darkest shade, that grey. So this tape on the outer corner is going to do my head in, I can already tell. My eyes are watering. So I will pack that grey shade, which was Decay, the grey matte. Pack that on the outer corner. And again, tap it into that tape a little bit. There we go. Happy with that. Then, how do I want to do this? I might do, no, not that one. That one was Astral Projections. Shadow Universe? Yes. Let's do Shadow Universe further out on the lid. That is a beautiful, like, smooth multichrome. Like, I'm not really seeing any sort of chunks of glitter. Like, you can see the chunks of glitter in that Parallel Dimension shade. You can't see them in Shadow Universe. It's a slightly different formula, slightly different finish. So tapping that over the outer half of the lid, and then I'll just go back in with those brushes for each of those colours just to blend that out a little bit. And then I'm just going to take Parallel Dimension, that one on my ring finger there. It's such a beautiful multichrome. It's so many different colours. I mean, look at that. Incredible. I'm going to pack that on the inner part of the lid. I'm glad I did my eyes first for this look, because that is flaky but also incredible. I am going to tap that lightly over that first multichrome that I put down, and also because I love this shade so much and it is so bright and intense, I'm tapping that up through the crease a little bit as well. And just intensifying that pink right on the inner corner, like the inner part of the crease there, and then tapping over with a brush with a bit of that parallel dimension, that lighter multichrome, just to disperse that up above the crease. Now, do I want to do some sort of smoky wing, or do we think that that grey tone will be enough? No, I think I want something a little bit more purple. So let's take a flat, dense brush, and I'm going to go into Vecna, which I know is a shimmer. It is a little bit shimmery, but I really, really like the undertone of that, and I think that that will work as a smudgy, purpley sort of wing. So tapping that over that tape, yes, that's working. That is working exactly how I wanted it to. Not too precise. I don't know how I'm going to do it on this side with the tape that's lifting off my face. Let's try it. There we go. I'm going to stop fussing now before that completely lifts off this outer corner. I am happy with that. So let's take this tape off. Oh, that was easy. Of course it was. My silly, silly eyeballs. Freaking out. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face, clean up all of this fallout. Obviously I used my fingers to apply that, so it was never going to be very neat. That's my excuse anyway. So I will go off, do the rest of my face, and then we can figure out what I want to do under the eye. Maybe nothing, maybe something. Let's wait and see. So I'm just neatening up that wing on the outer corner. I think, don't want to speak too soon, but I think this eye has stopped watering. It'll start again now that I've said that. It will absolutely start again, but I'm just adding a little bit more of that Vecna shade, just sharpening that wing back up. And I think I just want to take that fluffy brush that I used for the first Portal shade, and I just want to add a little bit of that under the outer half. I don't want this to be too dark or smoky, but I do just want a little bit of something under there, and I also don't want to take away from the sharpness of that wing. So just a little bit of that, and then I think we can probably add mascara. I'm trying to resist the urge. I want to put maybe the bright blue right on the inner corner, but also I want to leave this quite purple. I don't know, what would you do? Would you add a nice pop of Wormhole right onto the inner corner, brighten it up, or would you leave it as it is? I will do mascara, so I've just smoked that Portal shade under the eye a little bit, but not too much. Let's add some mascara, and then I might do all of my looks for this 3 looks with are going to be something dark and smoky, something shimmery across the lid, and then something bright and pastel on the inner corner. I can already tell because the pastels are just beautiful in this palette. They're so intense. They're just so perfect for right on the inner corner. And I am a predictable being, okay? I just want that all the time. I just want the same look all of the time. I'll try and resist. So difficult for me. There we go. So that's the mascara done. And I think I'm just going to do a tiny, tiny little blue in the corner. Tiny. Just the tiny, tiny, tiny. So tiny, tiny little brush into that wormhole shade. Just right there. So it's not too much, it's not too intense. I'm not going to do my usual and take this up through the inner part of the crease, because obviously that pink is there and I don't want to take away from that. But just a little contrast, and that is the look. That is the look. So I actually just wanted to get the torch up on my phone. Can you see that beautiful shimmer? Such a beautiful shade. Such a beautiful, beautiful shade. That, what was it? Parallel Universe? Yeah, Parallel Dimension, sorry. Beautiful. So that is look number 2. I don't know what I'm going to do with this leaky eye for look number 3, but we can figure something out together. This is look number 2. I love it. I'm glad I did that little pop of blue. I think that that's finished that off nicely. On to look number 3. Okay, so I had a little break. I had a big cup of tea, and I'm hoping that my eye is no longer going to leak. But let's wait and see. I really haven't clipped my hair back very well here, have I? Let me try that again. There we go. So I want to do something more with the peachy shades because I'm very interested in this shimmer specifically, but also the lighter peach pastel shade, the matte. So I think I'm going to start with that matte and run that through the crease just with a big fluffy brush. What other colours I'm going to put with it, I do not know. Are you sensing the theme here? I don't know what I'm doing, but let's run this peachy shade. I mean, it is incredible. So pigmented. So pigmented. So wiggle that all the way through the crease. Like so. Then I'm going to take one of these smaller, more tapered brushes and I will go into, let's do Nightmare Realm, a dark purple, nice deep shade. Let's get rid of the cat hair on the brush and I will put this on the outer corner and also wiggle it through the crease a little bit. And then just to help those two colours to blend a little bit better, I will go in with a little bit of Prison World, that next purple, over, just a tiny little bit of that, just over the join between those two shades, because obviously that peach is a very pastel, neon, bright, orangey peach, and that darker purple that we were using was very dark, so I feel like having something in between is going to help those to blend a little bit. I mean, they have blended nicely, but just having something there in between I feel like will help me. Then I'll just intensify that Nightmare Realm right on the outer corner of the lid, and then let's do a little bit more of Plane of Existence, that bright pastel peach, because I do want this to be really nice and bright. Yes, I'm happy with that. These pastel shades are so bright and so intense. I'm really, really excited about this formula. I do think that this palette is one that I will probably use quite a bit in spring, honestly, for these pastel shades, because they're just delicious. They are just so good. So running a little bit more of that Prison World, that mid purple, a little bit further in the crease, and then I'm just taking a little bit of that mid purple, that Prison World, a little bit further in on the lid, and then I am going to take more of a dense brush, a flat dense brush, and I'm going to go into Inception, that bright shimmery peachy orange, and I'm going to pack that on the blank lid area here. Oh, that shade is beautiful. That is so bright. Oh, I love it. I'm just taking a slightly smaller brush. That one was a bit big. Slightly smaller sort of pencil brush. That shimmer is incredible. And it's going on really, really nicely with a brush as well. Sometimes shimmers, I find they sort of lay flatter and look more reflective if you use them with your finger rather than a brush, but actually these are working and laying down really nicely with a brush, and you can just be a little bit more precise. Or I can anyway, because obviously I am not very careful when I am blending. So let's tap that out a little bit. I feel like where that's joining over that purple, it's almost going a little bit purple, even though it's a bright peach. That shade is incredible. So I will just tap back over with that smaller brush that I was using for those purples. And I think I'm happy. I think I am happy with how that whole blend is looking. I wouldn't normally think to put purples with that like orangey peach, but that works really well. Those shades are beautiful together. So I'm going to go off and do the rest of my face, and then I think I want to add a liquid liner wing to this, and I'm thinking maybe a purple. But I would do the rest of the face and then we can decide together. I say together as if I'm doing this on live. I need to figure out my whole live setup because I do want to do that. But that is an issue for another day. I am going to go off, do the rest of my face, and I will be right back. I also need some lip balm on. Oh, I'm dry. Okay, so let's finish under the eye. And then I have brought over a purple glittery liquid liner. I haven't done a liquid liner for the other two looks. You're just going to have to let me have it. I have refrained from using a liquid liner in the other looks, so you're letting me have it in this one. Okay, so let's take that small brush and I will go into that mid purple, which was Prison World, and I will run that along the lower lash line and also just round that out a little bit on the outer corner. I actually think what I want to do is add a little bit of white eyeshadow primer and then go in with that pink shimmer, which is called Night Terror, right on the inner corner. Do you see where I'm going with that? I have not blended that on my nose at all. Don't look at that. Oh, if only I knew what I was doing. If only I was a professional. You are not here for professionalism. If you are, Why? Yeah, and this eye didn't actually ever stop watering, so that's fun. I'm not doing any more makeup today. This is the last look. This is look number 5 of the day. So yeah, of course my eyes are like, girl, what are you doing to me? I don't know, I can't answer that. I don't know what's going on. So let's take a bit of Plane of Existence, that Peachy, and I'll use that over the very edges just to soften that down a little bit. I already have a real big dip in this Plane of Existence shade. I've been using it a lot and it is just beautiful. So running that over all of the edges to soften that down, and let's make these look somewhat equal. The shapes here are not even remotely the same. Let's fiddle around with this a little bit. There we go. A little bit better, not perfect. Who is trying to be perfect? Not me. Right, let's take the Beaute eyeshadow primer in the shade 1, which is the white, and I will tap this onto the inner corner, and I don't want to tap this out too far, but I do want to tap it out a little bit. If I can find a brush. I should have thought of this before I painted this liquid on my eye. So I just want to soften this down a little bit, but I do still want it very intense and very white right on that inner corner, so it's still really nice and bright. And while it's still tacky, I'm going in with a small little brush, quite a fluffy brush, because I do still want to pick up quite a lot of this Night Terror shade. If I just show you that one. So this is the one that we've got all over the lid, and I'm going to go in with the bright baby pink. Picking that up on a brush and pressing that into that nice tacky white eyeshadow primer. Yes, that is really nice and bright. Have I mentioned that I love this palette? Oh, I just, even like, I don't really like pink very much. Don't really like pink and I don't really like blue. There's a lot of pink and there's a lot of blue. There's also a lot of purple. I really love purple though. I just love this colour story, and I feel like the colour selection is beautiful. It's actually quite a light colour story. When I swatched it, I remember feeling surprised at how light and mid-tone it was, and I thought it was going to lean quite dark, especially with it being called Dark Dreamscape. I just thought that it was going to be a very dark palette, and it's really not. It's really not overwhelmingly dark, which I love. So I'm going to do a purple glittery liquid liner, because what does this look need if not more glitter? I will do this, I will do mascara, and then we are done. Hopefully this leaky eye will hold up just long enough for me to do a liquid liner. There we go. And that is look number 3 done and dusted. I think that this is my favourite one. Obviously it's the warm peachy tones, but also purple, and it's also got a liquid liner wing, and it's also got 2 multichromes, one right on the inner corner, so of course I was going to love it. But I did not think that this was one of the looks that I was going to create when I started this video. Like, 8 hours ago. So I would love to hear which look is your favourite. I think that this would be my favourite. This is the one that I would wear again. I mean, I'd wear all of them again, but this is the one that I would be most excited to wear again. I just love those shimmers. I just love those shimmers, and the neon pastel peach through the crease. It's beautiful. It's almost like a sunset, but still a little bit more spicy than a sunset with that purple. I love it. I love it. I would love to hear which of these 3 looks has been your favourite. I think it's got to be look number 3 for me. So, like I say, I will leave everything linked down below. Not like everything that I'm wearing, because I use different foundations and different bronzers and blushes and things, but the eyeshadow primers, of course the Beauty Bay ones, and the palette. I would love to hear if you've picked this palette up, what you think of it. If you're going to pick it up, I want to know all of your thoughts. But that is everything. 3 looks with Dark Dreamscape. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If there's any other eyeshadow palettes that you would like to see a 3 looks with video with, let me know. More than happy to do it. Probably not in October because there is no more time, but I hope you have enjoyed this video, and until tomorrow, until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.